much for coming along today. Delighted to have you here. And we hope to give you some really helpful insights to help grow your brands as a result of this discussion. The discussion is entitled How to Use Social Media and Sustainable Strategies to Grow Your Brand. So first off, I'd like to introduce my colleagues here, all very well known across the global jewellery industry. So starting with Prernaa, can you just briefly introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah. I don't think audible? Yes. Okay. Hi everybody, Namaste from India. I am Prernaa Makhariaa, India's first jewellery influencer and a personal jewellery shopper with over 275,000 followers on Instagram. And I have recently also founded Jewelry Networking, a platform that connects service providers from all different industries with service seekers from the gems and jewelry industry. So that's a little about me. Marhaba Istanbul. Thank you for having me here.
Agata.
Okay. I have issue with my microphone now.
It's fine.
Okay, so Agata from Blinksys, jewelry blog, born and raised in Poland, but I travel a lot for the jewelry show, for the sharing beauty of jewelry with you. So yeah, this is about me, yeah, in short. Yeah.
Very good. Shohista.
Hello everyone. Merhaba herkese. I'm from originally Uzbekistan, but located in the UK. So I'm also #1 influencer in the UK. So I have started my experience working for retail, selling jewelries, and also at the same time I have graduated from diamonds and as well as marketing. So combined everything with my experiences, I'm kind of utilizing and sharing everyone's knowledge and stories, as you can see. So here we go.
Thank you very much. And my name is David Bruff. I'm the editor and publisher of Jewellery Outlook, which is a global jewellery digital trade magazine. Delighted to be here. So what we'd like to do today is give you some really useful insights to help you grow your brands. Now, looking at the Istanbul Jewellery Show, many of the exhibitors here are manufacturers, particularly gold and silver and diamond jewellery manufacturers. This is, if you like, the backbone of this show. But among other types of brands, there are also jewellery designers and suppliers of loose colored gemstones and loose diamonds. So different types of brands. And what we're going to explore today and try to help the brands is to give insights into how they can use social media to grow their different types of brands. So as the main backbone of this show essentially are the manufacturers, I'd like to first ask Prernaa to tell us a little bit about how she would see manufacturers in India, where she is based, in how they would use social media to grow their brands. I mean, India is a very major supplier, a manufacturer of jewellery around the world, particularly of diamond jewellery and gold jewellery. And many of those manufacturers are already very actively using social media. So, Prernaa, if I could ask you just to tell us a little bit about how some of the Indian gold jewellery manufacturers and diamond jewellery manufacturers are currently using social media, and how you feel this could be applied for the Turkish manufacturers.
So when I started jewelry influencing in India, that term was very alien to everyone. This is 10 years ago. And jewelry manufacturers would think social media, firstly, is not for them. They had a notion that it's not for them. But over the years, especially after the pandemic of COVID, that perception has changed. My suggestion, especially for the Turkish jewelry manufacturers, would be that gold jewelry and electrofoam jewelry is your strength. I mean, why not talk about it to the world and invite the world to, buy jewelry from here? And when it comes to India, we expertise in artisanal jewelry, handcrafted jewelry. So India has always been about heritage and you know, the handcrafted jewelry and stories from different states about different kinds of jewelry. So I think jewelers over there are more about storytelling and talking about the kind of jewelry which takes back to the heritage of India. And I think Turkey is also rich with heritage and culture. So I think it would be a great way for manufacturers to emphasize on that as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'd like to ask my next question for anybody in the panel to come forward. The key focus at this show today must be the soaring gold price. I mean, gold prices today hit yet another all-time high, above 3,300 US dollars per ounce. This surge in gold price is driven by investor safe haven buying due to uncertainty over the impact of US tariffs on the world economy. It's a very key moment for the gold price, and gold prices are up more than 23% in US dollar terms since the beginning of this year, and last year, in 2024, rose by 24%. So for Turkish gold jewelry manufacturers, there's a huge challenge. How do you address the challenge of this soaring gold price? And it's a challenge also for the Indian gold jewelry manufacturers too. Now, within social media marketing, what are the ways in which the Turkish gold jewelry manufacturers can respond to the challenge of soaring gold prices? I'd be interested to get views of the panel on this. Now, Prernaa made a very interesting point about showcasing your latest technologies on Instagram. For example, as Prernaa mentioned, electroforming, a way of presenting more lightweight pieces at a time of very high gold prices. So would the panel think that perhaps one way in which Turkish gold jewelry manufacturers could promote themselves now using Instagram and social media would be to showcase the new technologies that they are using in order to address the challenge of the very high gold price? Would anybody like to comment on this?
So I think what they can do is, a lot of people do not know the story behind the brand. They always see face up, everything about the brand, but the man or the woman behind the brand, the legacy behind it, and simple things like how the jewelry, today people know about electroforming, they've heard about the term, but they do not know how it is made.
Yep.
So I think that those little things, when a retailer or your target audience looks at it, that makes a big difference. And the most important thing is it develops a trust of, sensibility of trust with the brand.
Yep.
Because you see how transparent the brand is in their communication.
Yes. So, for example, A, Turkish jewelry manufacturers need to really focus on developing their Instagram accounts. B, they can showcase the technologies they're using to face the challenge of soaring gold prices by showing their craftspeople at work on Instagram. They can show craftsmanship in the factories, in the atelier. And you'd be surprised at how much interest there is in videos and reels of craftsmanship on Instagram, because a lot of people just do not realize the intricacy involved and the skills involved in creating masterful gold jewelry pieces. And as Prernaa also mentioned, tell the story of your brand. You know, relate a little bit about how people work together in your factory. Social media marketing is not just for the high brands like Cartier, it's also for the Turkish gold jewelry manufacturers and the silver jewelry manufacturers and the diamond jewelry manufacturers, because they can show the retailers who buy their product just that they work with diligence, they work with very high standards, and we'll talk about sustainability in a minute. But I think these are the key takeaways. Now, moving on to jewelry designers, who are another type of brand that needs to grow using social media marketing. I'd like to first ask Shohista for some tips to, for example, Turkish jewelry designers as to how they should use Instagram in their social media marketing to boost their visibility and boost their sales.
Okay, so as you can see, gold is very much deeply connected to the heritage of Turkish tradition, weddings, and obviously using the social media to leverage these stories would be the first point to start with. The stories, how can you connect these stories, for example, giving a good gift, gold gift in the wedding kind of things is another way of starting and reaching out to a bigger community in the Turkish market. So this is the best pointing key points, as well as visually, being out there, being open to different technologies, as you can say, and different, how do I say, for example, we've got TikTok is going, trying different social medias and knowing your audience, and then just find out which social media is your platform to share your stories. So different points for different brands, I could say.
So Agata, talking about jewellery designers, what is your broad advice to jewellery designers, for example, Turkish jewellery designers, about how they should use Instagram to boost their visibility and grow their sales and their brands?
Okay, first of all, before you're posting anything, please think what makes your jewelry, what makes your design special. This is super important. Even like you start design your jewelry, take piece of paper, take pencil, and create the strategy of your content. And the thing is, you should tell stories, not just sell. Share the story behind each piece, like Prernaa told you. And what is important? There is a different kind of content. You have a product photo. This is clean, this is elegant, with close-up, behind the scenes. It's like, this is super easy. It's just, you can buy a good phone, buy a stand, you can record how you design, how even this magical mess in your workshop. I think it will be super important. Educational tips, it's always good to share that kind of content. Personal post. Oh my gosh, give your audience a little bit of your life. This is also, I think, very exciting. You can more connect with you. They can more even know you. Styling ideas also, it's super interesting, I think. So the aim is schedule to post 3 posts a week, plus, of course, Insta stories. Even why I told schedule, because sometimes I know how even we, influencers, it's super hard to daily record ourselves, take a picture when we have, I don't know, headache or we are super tired. I think this is super important. Even write this in your calendar and schedule it. What is very good tip which engage you? The call to action. When you put the stories, don't just put the photo. This is boring content. Ask people what you wanna see. Ask there. Make some conversation with your audience. I think this is super way how to engage your audience. This is to be in touch with them, comment, like another account. I think this is super important. Sorry, I have some notes because I really want to give you a lot of precious tips. Collaboration, yeah, I think this is what we have to tell. This is huge trend, the collaboration.
I think also being authentic, being you, which you shouldn't be ashamed of asking for help when you need it to. And these are the simple tips that you can start using. For example, from my own experience, I see that a lot of manufacturers don't have that time, available for them to use the social media. But planning, I think, is the best way forward. Giving yourself just a half an hour just to kind of share that authentic, organic form of videos is just it.
Even, may I finish? Ahead. Okay. Even once a month, spend 10 minutes to check your stats. check what works, what's not. You need to learn this. You need to learn your audience, your stats. This is super important. Then you can know. Then you can have a feedback what you can improving. Yeah,
it's the consistency. So let's say you can't share the content each day. For us, we live on Instagram, so we have to prioritize this. But the manufacturers don't have this time. So let's say maybe one stories about your work or background videos, just sharing a stories that's it, you know, that's everything. So
I mean,
shows
the advantage
that
that the
busy.
jewellery designer has is that they have all the materials around them. They're working materials, they have the precious materials, they're in the atelier, they can showcase themselves at work. But thank you very much. I mean, the key point then, jewellery designers need to post themselves at work, short reels. They need to be consistent. They need to tell their own story, whatever it is. If they're pursuing more sustainable practices, they need to talk about that. And they need to be constantly posting in new innovative ways, and rethinking how they do things and looking at their own statistics. So let's move on to another type of brand, which is the suppliers of diamonds. And well, let's talk first actually about colour gemstones. And let's talk about, well, firstly, Prernaa, what are your thoughts about how a supplier of colour gemstones, or indeed diamonds, should use Instagram to promote themselves? I mean, presumably they need to take really good images, for example. And if they are talking about responsible practices, they perhaps should talk about what steps they take to make sure that the colour gemstones right along the supply chain are being provided in a responsible way. What are your thoughts about suppliers of colour gems and diamonds and how they should use social media to promote their brands?
You know, as much as jewelry has beautiful stories, so do colour gemstones and diamonds. The most beautiful part about this is having a mines to market journey. So somebody who's into gemstones and diamonds should start right from the mines, take every step that comes all the way to produce that beautiful piece of jewelry. So there's such a huge and a long process that takes right from the rough to till a jewelry is made. So I think that's the best way to showcase your storytelling than just talking about it, because you have the entire bandwidth to show the entire supply chain and be transparent about it, because right from the origin, it's traceability till the time the jewelry is manufactured and worn by the end customer. So I think that's a beautiful way of showcasing that. Talking about photography, I think for gemstones and diamonds, natural light is really very important. As much as somebody would like to see the gemstone in an artificial light, but the beauty of diamonds and gemstones is the most amazing in natural light. So as much as you try using Mother Nature's supplies, I think you don't need the artificial light to show the gemstones.
So if I could just ask Agata to come in a little bit more. Agata maybe can give some useful tips on how to do video around loose colour gemstones and diamonds and indeed jewellery. Some advice, Agata.
Okay, first of all, buy very good lamp. I think also the very important thing is to change a little bit settings in your phone. For example, back to the light. When you, for example, record the gold jewelry, use the warm light, then you are focused on the golden color beauty. When you are recording diamonds, use the very, very cold light. Then it will be sparkling like a crazy. It will be super beautiful. So if you need some advice, after the panel we can split all together, because every girl here are using very good devices, so yeah.
Exactly. With the settings on your phone, you can enhance the sparkle, for example, can't you, on diamonds? Let's move on to another type of brand, which is the diamond jewellery brand. Now, here at the Istanbul Jewellery Show, there are a number of manufacturers of diamond jewellery. For the most part, they are natural diamond jewellery as opposed to laboratory-grown diamond jewellery. And with that in mind, if I could throw right open to anybody in the panel, what is your advice to diamond jewellery manufacturers about how they should use social media to promote their brands and grow their brands? I mean, should they be talking a lot about the advantages of natural diamonds, the fact that natural diamonds grew in the Earth's crust for many millions of years? What are your thoughts about how to market natural diamond jewellery manufacturers via social media?
So I think as a brand, if you are focusing on natural diamond jewelry, that communication itself has to be given to the audience. And talking about the different kinds of collections that you are doing, or if you're specializing in certain kind of technique of manufacturing, that can be another form of storytelling. I personally believe it's very important, and somebody had told me once, people follow people. So that's always stuck into my mind since then. As an influencer, people want to know everything about me, and I think as a brand, be it a manufacturer, designer, a gemstone, or a diamond person, the story showcasing of that brand and the person behind it is very, very important.
Okay, good. So as we enter the second part of our discussion, sustainable strategies. So I think it's very important to recognize that in the global marketplace now, it is very much understood that the consumer demands that every possible effort should be made to create a more sustainable product across the jewellery spectrum. I'd like to ask Prernaa to give some examples from the Indian experience. For example, in Surat, in India, most of the natural diamond jewellery crafters or manufacturers are based. And some of them have been adopting strategies to move towards greater sustainability. And perhaps Prernaa could sort of outline a few specific examples that those diamond manufacturers have been taken to pursue a more sustainable manufacturer, and perhaps think about how that might be applied for the Turkish experience.
So, when it comes to the term sustainability, there are many verticals that we can talk about, but I'd like to highlight about two of them. One, about the sustainability measures that the Gem and Jewellery Export Promotion Council of India is taking. So this is with regards to all the 3 shows of IIGS that they have. Simple things like they've moved to e-batches from paper batches. So everything is available on the phone. All you have to do is scan a barcode and you have access to everything. That one of the most important things that you would probably not realize, but it's a big step that they took, is they've started using recyclable bottles of water.
Which company is this?
This is at GJEPC. Oh. So between the 3 IIGS shows that they have, and they consume about 40 lakh bottles between the 3 shows, and they've moved from plastic bottles to recycled bottles. So that is a huge shift and a big step taken by the council. Apart from that, when we talk about SRK as a company, they're one of the leading diamond manufacturers of India. They've converted an entire village houses to solar panel rooftops. And that is one of the measures that they've taken to adapt to natural resources of lifestyle. And within their company, when it comes to sustainability, they also now have equal number of women and men working in their company. And there are women who are cutting and polishing diamonds. They are trained in the same way how men are adapting to all kinds of skills that are available in a diamond company. So I think that's hats off to them for that. And
just very briefly, Prernaa, to follow up, any advice that you could give to the Turkish manufacturers about how they can move towards more sustainable practices? I mean, for example, they should be looking at their recruitment, that there is a fair recruitment of women as well as men, for example. Should they be looking towards going more towards carbon zero? Again, should they be utilizing more green energy? I mean, can you give a few ideas as to how you feel Turkish manufacturers could move towards more sustainable practices, but also how to communicate that through their own social media?
So I think whatever CSR activities a company is doing, regardless they are manufacturers or any kind of genre of work they are in. So I'm giving an example from SRK's point of view. They've planted a lot of trees in their entire manufacturing unit. They are trying to go carbon neutral, and the number of trees that they've planted is to remove the emission of carbon dioxide over there. So that is one of the most important steps. And similarly, GJEPC also has taken the One Earth initiative, where they are planting almost a couple of lakhs of trees within a year. So I think those are the little steps any company or an organization can take forward.
Okay, so if I'd like to ask the other two panelists now about how jewelry designers, another type of brand, should be communicating their moves towards greater sustainability on their Instagram. So there are a number of jewelry designers who are very proud of the fact that they are working towards greater sustainability. For example, they're using recycled materials. They are aware of the entire supply chain. They have a gender empowerment, a gender equality recruitment practice. I mean, how do you express this on Instagram? If you are a so-called ethical or responsible jewelry designer, as many are in Turkey, how would you express this on your Instagram to make this point clear to the shops that would buy your jewelry that you follow responsible practices?
I think it starts with educating your followers, you know, what is sustainable measures, what to do. I mean, in the UK case, we see a lot of sustainable brands already who are using traceable metals, you know, like even the gold. As for in Turkey, you know, starting from signing up for a responsible jewelry council could be another good reason to start with. Also, start with packaging. Your packaging is not plastic, let's say. It has to be paper or used by recycled materials. This is another good way of starting. And also, I would say, constantly educating what you're using, what platforms you are using, your materials you're buying from. And this kind of probably generates different, you know, kind of source, I could say. So different metals.
So Agata, also for jewelry designers who are responsible or ethical, any tips on how they should be communicating this on their Instagram? I mean, if, for example, they use recycled gold only, or they use, say, color gems from a responsible source, I mean, how would you communicate this on Instagram?
I think the answer is super simple. Start telling about this, because if you strongly believe in this, these things, you have the voice, you have this mission in your voice, and then you have easy, when you tag in, you can easily find the people who admire your I forgot the word, sorry, admire your mission too.
Yeah.
So I think this is, and then believe in similar things. This is super important, and this is the strength of social media tools. Yeah, to find people who believe in the same thing like you. Yeah, exactly.
Really works really hard.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would really love it if anybody had any questions for us today. And before we go to the very tiny final segment, do think about any questions you may have. We'd love to take your questions. So just before we go on to questions, one last thing. On this broad same issue, Prernaa, projecting sustainable practices through your brand, looking at suppliers of loose colored gemstones and loose diamonds, who wish to be responsible and more sustainable in their practices. What advice can you give to them in how they would use their social media and Instagram to talk about their sustainable strategies?
So, in any kind of business, communication is very important. That is the key role that needs to be taken care of, regardless it's on social media or on your website. People will not know what activities you are doing or what steps, measures you are taking for your company. So that communication has to reach out to the audience. Instagram or any social media platform is an open page. The communication goes out to the audience globally. It's not just your own target audience, but other than your target audience as well.
I would also add, email marketing, where you've got already how do I call people? Number of people have signed up to your email, where you can share this communication to them, and that's another way of saving paper and going paperless, and that's already thinking, sustainability here. So
yeah. So delighted to take your questions now. So key points then, please, everybody, for your brands, whatever they may be in Turkey, a gold and silver jewellery manufacturer, a diamond jewellery manufacturer, a jewellery designer, supplier of loose-coloured gemstones and diamonds. Do think proactively about using Instagram and other forms of social media to tell your stories. Be consistent, show your craftspeople at work, make your key messages about, your desire for more sustainable practices. These are very much sought in the market now. There's an appetite out there to learn about what you're doing, to raise your visibility, and Instagram particularly is a very good tool for doing that. So I see there's a question. Muriel, can you please identify yourself? There's a microphone coming to you. Please identify yourself and then ask your question.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon. I'm Muriel Piazer from Paris. I have a jewelry business-to-business event, and I'm also doing a business consultancy in global development. I have a question. I'm happy to see you all because I know you. What is your, role in the evolution in the buying process concerning your work? Because for me, Instagram and all the social networks are very interesting for storytelling, but the final point is to involve the buying process in the wholesale and retail. So I would like to understand if you if you've seen an involvement in yourself with your business.
Yeah, this is a fantastic question. Thank you so much. And I would like each of the panelists to answer this one. So basically, if you could explain how you yourselves each can help a brand to communicate their key messages. Let's start with Prernaa.
So the most important point here would be you have to be very clear when you're working with any of the influencers. What exactly are you expecting out of them? What is it that you want to communicate to them, and what do you want them to showcase online? Because that transparency is very important. And similarly, it will work for us, because once we understand your vision, your mission, and what you want to communicate, it's easy for us to bring that out to the audience. And that communication really helps a lot. Exactly. So with, with social media, honestly, people think that sales will jump overnight and some magic will happen. But like we say, consistency is important. It will happen, but it might sometimes take a little time. So you might have to be a bit patient about that.
Shohista.
Again, influencer doesn't mean that you sell your pieces straight away. Influencer is bringing your brand out there, introducing you to a wider community, international community, and the rest will follow. So I usually want to know the brand, how they work, where they're from, what are their messages, what their intention by, trying to go and influence, work, collaborate with me. So it's just the messaging, being authentic. And also I really want the brand allow me to speak my way and being authentic and open. And that's a good way of kind of interacting and reaching out to a wider audience.
Agata.
Yeah. Second time, audience, target. This is super important question when you want to start to collaborate with any influencer, with jewelry from the even fashion sector. This is super important. Second one, style. choose the influencer with you feel this influencer style, when you feel the similar, if this person, this is your vision, she or he can represent your brand, your products very well. Check if their quality is good, because this is also really important. Nowadays, very trendy is using just phone, and for the campaign, the brands using the professional photo shoot, this is okay. And don't order just one collaboration. It never works. Order minimum 3 collaboration and then measure, and then talk with the influencer. Ask him what's your goal for the, what's your strategy. Yeah, I think many of us has a different style of work or different audience. Choose the person who you feel, yeah, you can collaborate. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Any more questions, anybody? Yes. Please do identify yourself and then ask your questions. The microphone heading to you.
Hello, hi everyone. My name is Nirvana and I'm from Canada, from Toronto. I'm on the retail side of the jewelry business. I'm also a jewelry designer. My question to you is, I've been hearing, I may have missed the first part of your panel. I've been hearing a lot about Instagram today.
Yeah.
So is this your favorite platform? Are there any other platforms that you can suggest to us? And also, is the hoopla of posting constantly still on?
Okay. So I'll give a few very quick insights and then ask all panel members to respond to that question. Thank you very much for your question. My personal view here is that Instagram is the leading means for people in the jewelry industry to communicate their marketing and sustainable strategies. There are certainly other ways of doing this. One of them would be LinkedIn, which is perfect for delivering a sophisticated written message primarily. Facebook also can be used. Obviously, Facebook and Instagram both belong to Meta. They're almost like sister platforms. You can link the two, and I think that would be good advice. Some of my fellow panelists may have views on Pinterest. Shohista already talked about email marketing or WhatsApp groups. Perhaps Shohista will address that further when she answers the question. But I certainly feel finally that there are other platforms too. X, for example, formerly known as Twitter, is very good, I think, for communicating hard news. But I think I would prefer Instagram for communicating more imaginative concepts, craftsmanship, for example, showcasing the beauty of pieces of jewellery. And finally, Blue Sky social media is another platform which has arisen lately. Just Google that, Blue Sky. It's out there. It is out there. Go and have a look at Blue Sky, which is now rising, and that is a competitor to X. Yes. So maybe, Shohista, how would you like to respond to the question?
Well, there are different ways. Obviously, Instagram, we seem to be, going viral on Instagram because Instagram is visually stronger, whereas TikTok, if you go onto TikTok, probably I wouldn't be able to go viral because at TikTok you have to be out there to explain what you're delivering. So it takes more of talking, whereas on Instagram we are able to spread the message without talking. That's how I could explain in a simple way. So Instagram is visually very rich, and that's why we use it heavily. And also in terms of reaching out to messaging, Instagram's way of speaking, talking directly is the trusted way of reaching out. And that's where I get all my kind of inquiries from. In terms of newsletter, maybe it's better to set up a kind of subscription, let's say this way, or newsletter where you can be active. Nowadays people get quite quickly bored, so maybe not, let's say, 2 or 1 newsletter every day, but maybe do 2 in 1 month, or let's just see how it works. you can always test it and then just see if that works better, or maybe you need to reduce the number of newsletters. So this is how I could give the tips on that. Thank you.
Agata, particularly could you give your thoughts on TikTok as well as Instagram and how they can be used to promote jewellery brands from your own perspective? And maybe you have a view on Pinterest as well.
You know, TikTok, personally I don't use it, but I can see there is potential, I think, for the jewelry brand which sells cheaper jewelry, because there's a lot of young people and even they can grow with you. You can educate them, you can find them and growing with them, and then, there can be your future buyers,
I mean, TikTok, I noticed that in terms of the pricing, it's a lot cheaper and very competitive. Whereas if you see that price and you go to Amazon, it's 3 times higher. So that's a way of thinking, are you going to be in that, the cheaper side? It's just kind of understanding your brand as well, in terms of whether you are kind of going towards the cheaper jewelry or you want just a bit of high but quality pieces. So Blue Sky is another, quickly developing platform as well.
So Blue Sky is a competitor really to X, I would say. So it's more for hard news, I would say. For jewellery marketing, I think it would not be necessarily a primary channel. And just to wrap up on this, Prernaa, any thoughts on use of different platforms? Any views on Pinterest also?
So Pinterest, I would say, is more inspiration-driven, while as Instagram and TikTok is more fast content. The attention span is barely 3 seconds for anyone to grab your attention. So since you are into retailing of business, I have seen a lot of jewelry manufacturers selling jewelry in the Southeast Asia right from their booth while they're showcasing in the middle of a show. I think that would be another way you could probably try, because they work on Snapchat, on TikTok, on WhatsApp. There's a busy show going on. They're selling there, and there's a live video, and they're selling jewelry right there. So I think that's a great way to also get communicated with your, interacted with your audience.
Thank you very much. Any more questions? Oh, there is a question there. Hello, sir. Microphone heading to you now. Please do identify yourself.
Hello, my name is Ali Saleh, jewelry designer and jewelry instructor in Lebanon, from Lebanon. The question is how to make the trust between us, like jewelry designers and makers, and the customers in social media. Like some of people like working in social media to make people know about the jewelry, but from one side. But the thing is that my student also ask me every time, how we do the market on social media, because we have like the trust issues in jewelry. That's my question.
I would say, collaborating with influencers, or let's say, depending on the influencers, you can do maybe gifting. This is just a starting, but it's just a lot of building relationship with the community, or maybe do an event and go out. In our case, we go out, we travel a lot, just so we can see the people and build a networking. So this is the best way of, building your community.
I think as a designer, what you can also do is, if your target audience is the end consumer, the authenticity in your jewelry will matter a lot. Certifying the jewelry, being associated with responsible trade councils, for example, or RJC is just one of them. So I think that will also add up authenticity to you as a designer and as a brand. So maybe you want to start reaching out to all these people to add value to your end customer.
Yes, if you have a relationship, for example, with your national trade association, become a member. Reach out to groups like the Responsible Jewellery Council or Watch and Jewellery Initiative 2030, who are known for their standards, and your association with them, and if you pass their audits and so forth, would underpin your authenticity in the market and boost your trust.
Also, if you have some certificates, practice on your
Yes.
Instagram, on
Yes.
your LinkedIn. There is a group of people from industry. You can reach out to them and
Yes.
find connections.
I mean, in the UK, Goldsmiths is quite a good one because they've got the number of people group where all are signed up for it and where you can find easily able to find
Yes.
the designers.
Yes, I mean you can offer your gemstones and your diamonds and gemstones as certified by reputable labs, for example.
Yeah.
You can express this on your social media, and that can be verified. So it's all a question of taking the right steps, really, building a relationship with your audience. So I'd like to say thank you very much indeed for coming along today. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.